Welcome to Finding the Given. So sometimes when you're solving for single units, the given won't be totally clear to you. For example, a student needs special postage stamps. The stamps are sold 6 per sheet. Each stamp booklet has 3 sheets. 420 stamps are needed, and the cost is $43.20 per 5 booklets. What is the cost of the stamps? So if we want to know what is our given here, I want you to pause the video, read through this again, try to see if you can figure out what the given is, write down the wanted section, the data section, box or circle or highlight the given, and see if you can go ahead and solve it. So let's use the process of an elimination. If all of our numbers are paired into equalities except for one, then that number is our given. So let's write our wanted, data, and solve sections. So what we want is dollars, because we're looking for the cost per stamp. We know that 1 sheet is equal to 6 stamps, 3 sheets is 1 booklet, 420 stamps, and $43.20 is equal to 5 booklets. Well, we only have one number that is not paired into an equality, and that's the 420 stamps, so that must be our given. And that means that in the solve section, we're going to write our wanted. So question mark dollars. We want to find how many dollars is equal to 420 stamps. Now we're multiplying by our conversions, so we're converting from stamps to sheets, sheets to booklets, booklets, and we know the cost per 5 booklets, so booklets to dollars, and that gives us a total cost of $201.60. So a few notes here. You could have solved for dollars or cents instead of dollars with the dollar sign. Those would be fine. Know that if you're solving for cents, then your number is going to be 100 times bigger. The answer here is exact because all of the numbers are counting numbers, and thus they're all exact, which means that our answer is exact. In other words, we have no uncertainty in our answer. The student will be charged exactly $201.60, not some fraction of a cent, or there's no uncertainty that when you go to a store to buy something, those prices are exact and you're multiplying them by some number of counting numbers, unless you're weighing out something. So if you have a price per pound, that's something different, but if your price per item, those are exact, and you should be able to figure out exactly what the cost will be, at least before tax. So many of the problems that you will encounter in a first-year chemistry course can be solved using the method that we've just learned, but sometimes we'll need to add one more rule. So in measurements of chemical substances, we always should write the chemical formula of our substance being measured after the number and the unit. For example, 9.00 grams of H2O, grams of water, or 40.0 grams of sodium hydroxide is equal to 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. We don't want to just write 40 grams equals 1 mole, because that's only true for some compounds that have a molar mass of 40 grams per mole. So for measurements of chemical substances, always write the number, the unit, and the formula. If you're not measuring a chemical substance, if you're measuring a table or a chair or something, you can write just the number and unit, although generally you should also write a label. So the formula here is acting as a label for our number and unit. So practice writing in this way while you're using the problems in the textbook as you go through and solve those problems. You may write data pairs as either equalities or as fractions, as in a conversion factor. That means you may write your data in this way with data 1 sheet equals 6 stamps, 3 sheets equals 1 booklet, 420 stamps, that was our given. $43.20 is equal to 5 booklets. You could write it either that way, or you could write it in fraction form like this. So 1 sheet divided by 6 stamps, 3 sheets divided by 1 booklet, 420 stamps. That's not changing because that's still our given. Or $43.20 divided by 5 booklets. So in each of these fractions, now the value of each fraction is 1, and we just have 2 different units in each fraction. If you really want to save space, bear in mind here that paper is relatively cheap, so you're best off using enough white space to keep things clear, even if that means that you're going to use multiple pages per assignment. You can write the fractions all on one line with plenty of space between them to keep them clear, so you can write it out as 3 separate fractions all on one line. I would still recommend writing the given on a separate line, although again, if you really want to save space, you can write them all on the same line. So practice solving problems in this way using the problems in the textbook. And that was finding the given.